Hello, Pueblo West High School teachers. Welcome to our LGBTQ training that we're going to be looking at and working through today. We're going to spend some time talking about transgender students with the influx of uh, these individuals into our school. We need to understand where they come from and be aware of how to treat and how to act and how to treat these individuals with respect. First of all, treating all students with respect. Our mission at Pueblo West High School is to graduate compassionate, responsible individuals who recognize interculturally connective and value lifelong learning. First of all, some facts, some things that transgender students may face, and some legislation that is put in place in order to protect these individuals. Transgender Coloradans face unique challenges. Widespread discrimination, unemployment, homelessness, and violence are just some of the issues transgender people face on a daily basis. Schools are often places where LGBTQ young people don't feel safe or included. In Colorado, 7 out of 10 students are harassed based on their sexual orientation. It is important that we work to build a climate across our state where LGBTQ students can be out, safe, and respected at their schools. We want all students to be respected and feel important and included within our school community. In 2008, Colorado passed a law, Senate Bill 08200, expanded prohibitions against discrimination. The law calls out the need to protect all, regardless of disability, race, creed, color, sex, sexual orientation, marital status, national origin, or ancestry, in all places of public accommodation. The law defines sexual orientation as a person's orientation towards what heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, or transgender status, or another person's perception thereof. Continuing on some facts and some things that we need to look at and have a better understanding of transgender students. What does transgender mean? Transgender means those individuals having a gender identity or gender expression that differs from societal expectations based on gender assigned at birth. So students who were born one sex and identify as another. Gender identity means an individual's innate sense of one's own gender, a deeply held sense of psychological knowledge of one's own gender, regardless of the gender assigned at birth. Gender expression, in the meantime, means external appearance, characteristics or behaviors typically associated with a specific gender. Gender expression is the way we communicate our gender identity to others. Gender nonconformity describes people whose gender expression differs from stereotypical expectations, such as feminine boys, masculine girls, and those who are perceived as androgynous. Some examples of this is when girls use binding, and in some extreme cases, sex changes. In our school, restroom and locker room usage, we follow not only district policy, but state policy. The goal for our district is to ensure the safety, comfort, and healthy development of all students, including transgender or gender nonconforming students. All covered entities shall allow all individuals to use gender-segregated facilities that are consistent with their gender identity. Gender-segregated facilities include, but are not limited to, restrooms, locker rooms, dressing rooms, and dormitories. In gender-segregated facilities where undressing in the presence of others occurs, covering entities shall make reasonable accommodations to allow access consistent with an individual's gender identity. At our school, we currently have gender-neutral restrooms and gender-neutral changing areas for the gym and PE area. Continuing, when working with families, when we contact families, make sure that we speak in a soft and effective way. Generally, the student's parents will be aware of the transgender or gender nonconforming student. In some cases, notifying parents of students carries risks such as being kicked out of the home or experiencing rejection from the family. Prior to notification of the family, school staff should work closely with the student and consider the health, well-being, and safety of the student. Using names and pronouns. A court-ordered name or gender change is not required, and the student need not change his or her official records. We have multiple students within our school who do not go by their birth names. They call them dead names. And the Colorado Civil Rights Commission specifically identifies prohibited conduct as deliberately misusing an individual's preferred name, form of address, or gender-related pronouns, such as intentionally referring to a student by name or pronoun that does not correspond to the student's gender identity. Some of these pronouns that are acceptable are they and them when addressing the individual, not he or she. Make sure we use the correct pronouns and not the dead names when we're addressing these students. Some privacy laws that our district follows, and also in the state of Colorado, under the Family Education Rights Privacy Act, FERPA, only those school employees with a legitimate educational need should have access to a student's record or information contained within those records. Transgender and gender nonconforming students have the ability, as do all students, to discuss and express their gender identity and expression openly and decide when, with whom, and how much of their private information to share with others. Hopefully we use this information that we've learned today to make all students feel welcome and safe within our school. Thank you for your time.